Hey everyone, good afternoon. It's Hillary, the marketing mom here. I'm actually early today and I did not schedule anything for you. So today is a surprise day. All right. And this is actually born out of a discussion that my husband and we were having. And it's something that we kind of always do. All right. And I am going to be talking a little bit to my parents today, but business people pay attention because when you struggle with parenting, you're actually doing the same things that business owners do when they're struggling for success. And you'll see the connection, hopefully, as we go through this. But I want you to bear in mind that, yes, we're talking about raising kids and your baby that you're holding right now, or maybe your 1 year old that you're playing with at home, or your 6 year old who you're trying to help get up in their reading, they are eventually going to become big adults. All right. And it's the same thing with your business. You started a business, it's like a little baby. It's brand new. You don't know what to do. You can't figure out if to change the pamper now or later, all this kind of stuff, right? Um, Business and parenting, I've always said it, there are so many things that are connected to it. And it's amazing that my journey into the business ownership, I really took a deep dive into it, 2 feet into it, when my daughter was born. All right. So the reason I always say that these two things are connected is because I see it. And last night, the discussion I was having with my husband basically was, I came up with these two things. I was just like, the actions of men. Like I put it this way: there's always that person in the office that you just can't stand, right? No matter what you do, there's always that one person, right? Or there's always this adult that you're just like, oh gosh, I wish they would just do it right. I wish they would grow up. I wish they would, whatever the case may be, right? Um, the actions of men as adults there's a direct correlation to their childhood actions, right? And this is not in any way to cast blame on their parents, okay? Because as we grow up, we have to, whether we like it or not, take responsibility for our actions. But you've probably heard it a million times before. This is why parents are always so concerned about raising their children, because as a parent what you do now between ages 0 to 7 or 0 to 14, that those 14 years, if you don't put in that foundation, what you are doing is creating an adult that people are going to hate in the office place. They're going to hate as a husband or a wife. They're going to hate as a parent if they ever become a parent in the future. And I'm using the hate as a strong word. And if we bring that back to business, a lot of people think that, okay, I'm going to get a successful business. Last night, or I think it was Monday night, I was on a training call where one of the trainers said, he woke up the beginning of this year. He was looking at his business and, doing something. And then he realized, oh my goodness, 10 years later, I'm an instant success. And we've probably heard quotes like that before, right? 10 years later, you're an instant success. All right. Whatever it is that you're doing. And 15 years later, you're an instant success. All right. And if we think about business and raising a child, you've got about 10 years to kind of make sure that they have what they need. Education aside, yeah, they're going to get the degrees, they're going to get all of that. But you see, when it comes to building your children's personalities and how they're going to be as human beings out there in the world, you've got 7 to 10 years. And some people say a little less than that, all right? Some argue it's a little more. You have just before they hit their teenage years, right? And some parents, they're like, why are my teenagers so crazy? And I think to myself, think back to when they were 3, 2, 1. What were you doing with them then? All right. So it's the same thing with your business. And I'm going to talk about not three things, but it's going to be about certain things that you do as a parent and certain things that you do in business that lays the foundation. Because if you're truly in business, there's one thing that you have to do. And that's the first thing. And most parents, they don't have a choice. Okay. And most parents do not have a choice with this one thing that business people do have a choice of. It's either you're in or you're out. You got to jump in with 2 feet. And that's the first thing. You've got to jump in with 2 feet and say, I'm in this all. So when you decide you're going to be a parent, some people don't get to decide, but when you are a parent, you don't have a choice. You're in it. You have been given a responsibility now to raise another human being, right? So you are in it 100%. And there's some parents who check out, right? Just like business owners. Some business owners say, look, I'm done with this. I'm done. But as parents, most conscious parents, they don't check out. Maybe they may check out at lunchtime and be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to hide in the closet for 5 minutes just to get a little peace. Or I'm going to take a walk. But they always come back. They're not checking out completely of their parenting. And it's the same thing with business. If you want to be successful in business, same way when they want to be successful as parents, you've got to be in 100%. All right. So that's the first thing. The next thing is consistency. Boy, have we ever heard that. All right. So you want your teenage child to wake up one morning magically making up their bed. Well, I don't know about you, but if it was start when they're 3 years old, they're never going to do it. And guess what? You're going to have to remind them every day. And you're going to have to go at it every day. Did you make up your bed? Go and make up your bed. Hey, could you go make up your bed? And then when they're 15, they're going to be screaming at their siblings saying, why are you messing up my bed? Okay, and you're going to look at them like, what just happened? 15 years later, you see the success of the actions that you were taking since they were 3 years old. And believe you me, as a parent, it's hard. It is so hard to really go at it every day. Every day you have to tell them the same thing over and over again. But guess what? Every day in your business, don't you open the doors? Every day in your business, don't you sit down there and wait for a customer to come in? Every day, don't you send out that email? Every day, don't you go and do those social media posts? Every day, don't you try to tweak your sales funnel some way to get business? You're at it every day. Well, your children are the same thing. You got to be at it every day. It's like a little annoying little, you kind of sometimes have to be like them. Mommy, 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 mommy. So you have to go back to child, 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 right? So consistency, whatever it is that you're doing, you got to be consistent with it. All right. You can't just be like, okay, I'm going to do it Monday and then I'll wait 2 weeks. All right. I'll wait 2 weeks and then I'll come back to them with the whole bed issue. Or I'll wait 2 weeks for the toys, right? You know, if you're at my stage of childhood when, you know, you get up from your desk and you trip over something because there was a toy left there and you have to call them. And it's not the first time. No, it's not. And it's not going to be the last. Okay. Let's just get it there. All right. Keeping the next thing may seem strange, but you see, this is the point that makes a man, makes a woman. Accountability. You have to get to the point where your children are held accountable for their actions. That takes ownership. It's like owning your problem. Okay. Now I'm at the stage where I get to do that a lot, right? Because my kids are at that age where I have to drill that home. Now let's think about business. All right. I am in an accountability group. I've got accountability partners, and there are literally some days where I do the work, but I did not tell them I did the work. That's accountability. All right. And you've got to be accountable for your actions. Same thing with children, getting them to own their problems and own what it is that they're supposed to be doing. So, simple example, my daughter comes and she's like, Mom, where's my homework book? And I turn the question around. I don't know where your homework book is. Where did you put your homework book? You see how you flip it around? Give them the ownership. And you're going to have to do it consistently all the time so that they are going to be fully understanding that, oh wait, that's my school book, that's my textbook, that's my, so that I now have ownership and responsibility of where I put it. Okay. I know some parents are thinking, well, what if they didn't get their homework done? Whose homework is it? Yours or your child's? Okay. And you are going to make a bet. So remember what we're talking about. The child of now, you're forming the man of tomorrow or the woman of tomorrow. That's what you're forming. So if you want your child to be going to your boss and making excuses, going to their boss when they're 35 and making excuses, well, I couldn't finish that project because, right? When you take responsibility for what your children should be taking responsibility for, even if they are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, yes, you love them and you are loving them by giving them the responsibility to be accountable to you. Where's your book? All right. And in business, we do it, we grow into it. So let's help our children grow into that as well. All right. And then keeping track. This is more for you than for the kids because kids don't keep track. And the thing is, in business, you've got to keep track. This morning, I was on a call, a mindset call, and that was one of the things that was emphasized and harped upon, that you've got to keep track. But keeping track also has this accountability to it, and you have to, with your children, you have to keep track of what you're doing. All right. You've got to keep track of what you're doing with your kids, because definitely you need to know where you stand with them. You've got to give them that I guess you have to know how they are progressing along their development path. And it's the same thing with you in business. All right. You've got to do that. So with kids, I mean, again, with my kids, I have to keep track of, okay, what are the challenges that I'm giving them and how can I move them along that path of development? All right. Because again, you're building this foundation. All right. You're building this foundation. Your business is being built. All right. If you honestly think of your business as if you're rearing a child, as a parent, you're not going to see the success of that child until they're 20. So approach your business the same way. Like, I know, and you've got to trust the process. That's another thing. You've got to trust the process, because you waking up every morning and telling your child, make up the bed, make up the bed, make up the bed. There are 365 days in the year, and your children are going to probably be living with you for at least, if you're in the US, you may get them out earlier. But in our culture, in Trinidad culture, children stay around for a little while, all right? And if every day you have to be telling them that, right, that could get a little annoying. Let's just say 365 days in the year. Maybe you give them Christmas off, right? Okay. But still, let's think about this. If you're doing this for how many ever times in your life for your children, think about how much more you're going to have to put in for your business if you want to see your business grow in 5 years. I mean, what does a 5-year-old look like to you? Not a successful business, all right? So you've got to put in the time, you've got to put in the effort, you've got to put in the energy. Thank you, and jump into this weekend thinking about what it is that you are going to be building, growing, laying the foundation for, whether it's in your children or in your business. Have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.